Good Thursday morning, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Hope you are having a good week. It is almost Friday, but today is the day for all NFL fans. It is Draft Day 2026. I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Again, we're going to give you a preview of what's about to go down here in about 6 hours. And for those that are watching me on YouTube later or at Facebook as well, yeah, I know I had scheduled this for 2 p.m., but I had to accommodate my guests. So I had to go a little earlier because he got some things he got to do because it's a big day in East Texas as well. You know who I'm talking about. We're going to bring him on here in just a second. But first, before we do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That is Kendrick Sports Hustle right here on YouTube. Make sure you follow it on Facebook as well. You can also follow me on Instagram at Kendrick1969. And you can also follow me on TikTok at Kendrick Henderson51. So make sure you come in, comment, engage with us. We'd like to talk with you. But we're going to jump right into this thing. First and foremost, let me bring on my brother, KLTV sports director, Michael Coleman. What's going on, bro? How you doing today?
Well, listen, happy draft day because I got to hand it to the NFL. I mean, they know how to really blow up their brand. We just came out of the Super Bowl, and then the combine, and now the draft, and then OTAs, and then training camp, and it's off to the races. So yeah, this is a day that's as anticipated as much as the NCAA bracket fill out. I really believe that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, especially, when they move to having only the first round on Thursdays, that kind of set it apart from the other rounds. Because you and I both remember when it wasn't just one the first round by
Yeah,
itself. I think it was
yeah.
like the first 2 or 3 rounds, and then they would go from there or whatever. So they definitely have changed the game. So again, make sure you come in, let me know where you're watching from, comment so we can engage with you. And it's coming from Pittsburgh, the Steel City. For the first time, I did read where kids are not at school today, Mike. They having to learn virtually because there was a lot of commotion, a lot of things going on, security clearance. So all the kids in public schools in Pittsburgh will be learning at home today and tomorrow. How about that?
Well, and Pittsburgh being the kind of town that it is, that makes sense, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good move for it to be in Pittsburgh. You know, the hard, blue collar workers who love football. They love their football, and I think it's a good move. And the kids it's kind of like back in the day when
Mm-hmm.
when everybody listened to baseball on the radio. The kids would stay home and listen to it, or they would take their transistor radio to school, and teachers and principals had to fight against the kids who were interested in that sport. And that's probably why they play it at night now, because
Right.
there's no World Series played in the afternoon. It's
Right.
played at
Yeah.
night, probably
Right.
because of greedy owners too. But still, nonetheless, I think that's a good deal. Thanks a lot for that information. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's what's going on in Pittsburgh. So let's get right down to it, Mike. One thing I want to let the viewers know: there's a change this year when it comes to how long teams have between picks. It's now only 8 minutes in the first round, down from 10 minutes. They want to speed this thing up. And I think that's a good move, Mike. Is 8 minutes? I think 8 minutes is long enough. I think 10 minutes
Oh,
was too long.
no, you might even shave off two more if you don't know
Mm-hmm.
in the first round what you're going to do. How much time do you need? Now, granted, some teams may want to cut deals and negotiate to move up and move down, but it is good that they decreased it by 2 minutes.
Right.
Um, I think it's a deal where um, teams, when you get 10 minutes, you tend to overthink the
Mm-hmm.
situation, the
Mm-hmm.
process, and you back yourself into a corner in the
Right.
first round. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good deal for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and 2 through 7, it remains the same far as time. I think it's 5 minutes between each picks. All right, Mike, let's get into the first round. Let's start with the Raiders. We know who the Raiders taking. What you think?
They just need 30 seconds.
Right.
Ain't no reason in the world where they should use up half of their 8 minutes.
Right, right. Yeah. So we all know, pretty much everybody knows, even Las Vegas has pretty much said that the Raiders will take Fernando Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winning, national championship winning quarterback out of the U, not that U, but Indiana U, with the number 1 pick. All right, let's move to a team that you kind of know a little bit about, Mike. You've been a little bit removed from him from a few years, but you know about these Jets at number 2. Who do you see? What do you think the Jets are going to do here?
I think they're going to go defense. I think this Arvell Reese guy is going to be for them a no-brainer. You have a defensive head coach, although he didn't shine last year, but a lot of coaches don't shine. I don't like him getting beat up for that because he ain't the only coach to go in and not do well. And so, but I think on that side of the ball, he's going to be there. So you got to take Arvell Reese, I believe.
Well, Phil Yates with ESPN is saying that David Bailey, the edge from Texas Tech, is going to be the Jets pick. Now, again, these are all mock drafts. None of us really know. We just guessing, just like these NFL draft gurus like Mel Kiper Jr. and them. Again, they've been doing this thing for decades. I get that. But at the end of the day, yeah, they got connections. They know people inside these organizations. But they're guessing just like we are, aren't they, Mike?
Well, I've always maintained the thing about the draft, everybody's not a blue chipper.
Right.
You might have 7 to 10 bad boys, and everything else, you're rolling the dice.
Right.
You can have all the stats in the world and all that kind of jazz, but it's about fit. Where do you go that fits what you do? Because you have a really talented player, but it just doesn't work out. And then the next thing you know, you're being called a bust. So, and look at all the reclamation of the quarterbacks who were thrown on the heap, who have come back to have solid careers. So it's about being, if you're the owner / coach and GM, you got to have patience with these guys. And if you're a guy, Tom Brady's a great example. He goes in the 6th round. He's got Super Bowl rings. So, like you said, it's a guess. The only time you're right, and when it's the number 1 pick. From that point on, you get graded on a curve.
and then too, just because they're the number 1 pick, don't necessarily mean they number 1 either. That's gonna be out there. You know what I mean? You just never know. With that, at number 3, the Arizona Cardinals. Who you think? Most people are leaning with the kid from Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love.
That's where I'm leaning. That's where I'm leaning. I don't know what they have offensive line wise. I don't think they should take him because your need is not a running back. You don't even have a quarterback. Oh yeah, you got a quarterback, but you don't have a quarterback.
No, yeah. Well, I think James Conner, I think, is their running back who's coming off an injury. So I could kind of see them going.
And he stays injured. But here's the question: why is he injured? Is it because they don't have an offensive line? So but he's a talent. He's a talent. Jeremiah is. So I think that's where they're going to go.
All right, at 4, we got the Tennessee Titans. New head coach, new offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll. They got Cam Ward, so they set at quarterback. According to Phil Yates, they're going to take Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. Mike, you think that's where they're leaning?
If the Cowboys don't make a move, that's where, again, like you said, we're guessing here. If they don't make a move, like, hey, we'll give you, because they don't have a 2nd round pick,
right?
So if they want to move up and try to get a 2, or anybody, but for argument's sake, Cowboys, because of their predicament, that'd be a move for them to make. But I just don't think they're going to make a move for that particular player. They'd love to have him on the clock, but it's not going to happen. So yeah, I think that's where the Titans go.
And I know the Cowboys are interested in the other Ohio State defender. Is it
Yeah,
Caleb Downs? I've
Caleb
been hearing,
Downs.
yeah, they want him. So that's been sort of the rumor that the Cowboys may try to move up. But I did read as well that they do not want to give up that number 20th pick in the first round if they don't have to. But because just like you just said, Mike, they don't have a second round pick. So I don't know if they're going to do that. But hey, we're going to see what happens because there has been talk that there's going to be a lot of moving and teams
Oh, I
possibly
believe there
trading
will be.
down.
I
Yeah,
believe there will be. The Giants have two
right,
ones, and
right.
Cowboys have 2 1s, and that,
Hmm.
yeah, I believe that.
Speaking of the Giants, they're at number 5, and they're going with the guy you mentioned, Arvell Reese. According to Phil Yates of ESPN, that's who he says the Giants are going to select at number 5 with their new head coach, John Harbaugh. Do you agree?
Well, it makes sense considering who the head coach is now. I mean,
Right,
that's
right.
his calling card.
Yeah,
I mean, he had Ray Lewis,
yeah.
and they ruled the land for a minute. So um, I think that'd be a good jumping off point for him because that's what I mean. Because we go by the pattern of what he's done. I mean, you're kind of surprised he drafted Lamar Jackson, considering how defensive minded he is.
Right.
But he had Trent Dilfer and won a Super Bowl. He's like, well,
Yeah.
I can get me a defense stacked and win some games and do some damage. So I think that'd be a good move.
Yeah, I think so too. What's up, TFG Sports Media? My people watching, man. Yeah, it is draft day, TFG Sports Media. And I'm gonna post something on that YouTube channel as well, something recorded later on in the day. I appreciate the love, appreciate you giving me the shout out. At number 6, now this is gonna be interesting. Cleveland Browns. Trying to figure out, I believe Shadur is probably going to be their starting quarterback, but I also know that they got some other places they need to show up outside the offensive line. They need some wide receiver help, possibly some secondary help. They got them choosing offensive tackle Monroe Freeling, I should say, out of Georgia. I think this is probably on point. I think the Browns are going to go with the offensive lineman. Mike, what's your thoughts?
I think they'll go with the wide receiver.
Okay.
I think they'll go with the WR um, to help facilitate Shadur and let him develop a rapport with another young receiver, another young player. You
Right.
know, they got holes. It's like you got numbers, just like you got codes. They got holes, and I think for them, it's just a matter of what wide receiver, because it'll be the first receiver taken based off what we're talking about. It could be the kid from Arizona State, Jordan
Yeah,
Tyson. It
Jordan
could be
Tyson.
Carnell
Yeah.
Lake out of Ohio
Hmm.
State. So
Hmm.
I think that's where they lean.
TFG Sports Media says Cleveland being Cleveland, they'll probably take a kicker. And it's a pretty. Speaking of kicker, TFG Sports Media, there's a pretty good one down there at UT San Antonio. He doesn't have a lot of experience, but he got a big leg. He kicked his pro day. He kicked like a 70-yard field goal into the wind, and it was good. And I did something on that on the channel some weeks ago. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So okay, so at 6. Cleveland, Mike says they probably go wide receiver. I think they'll stick. I think they will go with the offensive line, and I think they eventually will pick a receiver. I think because I don't
Yeah.
think they have a choice but to do that. Number 7, we got the NFC East. We just talked about the Giants. Now the Commanders coming off a disappointing season. Defense wasn't as good as it was the year before. They had some injuries. Their quarterback was in and out, didn't play a whole lot. According to ESPN, they got them taking Carnell Tate, the WR you just talked about, Mike, from Ohio State. You think that's what's going to be the
Well,
deal
I
tonight?
think I think the receiver route is the way to go. I really
Mm-hmm.
do. They got that young quarterback. Of course, he didn't play this past season. The injury,
Yeah, Jaden Daniels, who's
Um,
one of my faves. He's one of my favorite
yeah,
quarterbacks.
I mean,
Yeah,
he made one heck of a first impression, and then we all just knew they were going to build off of that. But you can't judge what the team's going to do the following year based on what they did last year. I
right.
mean, especially a team that's new to the game in terms of winning. But
Yeah.
give him some help, and I think whatever a receiver would be the route to go. And maybe Tyson is the guy they go with if Lake's going to be gone.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what they're saying at number 7 with the Commanders. Let's move to Who Dat Nation down there in the boot. Old Kellen Moore. I guess he got him a quarterback with the guy out of Louisville. I can't never say his name correctly.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
but
But
yeah,
the Saints actually ended up playing a pretty damn good toward the end of the season. They got some needs, definitely wide receiver needs, I would say, and uh, that's where the Phil Yates got the Saints going. Jordan Tyson, the guy you just mentioned a couple
okay.
of minutes ago, Mike, out of Arizona State. I think that makes sense. What's your thoughts?
Well, Kellen Moore being an offensive-minded guy, I know he wants to put his wit to work and his X's and O's brain. Because the last three we've talked about, for me anyways, or last two, and now I'm make it three, have been wide receiver. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
and I'm not. I think I'm just realizing as top heavy as the draft is with edge
Hmm.
and linebackers, I hadn't really thought about the wide receivers being so deep, but I think
Hmm.
that's going to be the case.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I was watching Mel Kiper Jr. and Phil Yates about 30 minutes ago, and they were saying how this draft you can probably get you a wide receiver because of it's pretty deep this year. Obviously, it's not as deep at the quarterback position, but we'll mention that
Right.
here in just a few minutes. Now we got to talk about your Chiefs, Mike. They're at number 9. You know,
Yep.
our buddy was saying that they're gonna take a quarterback. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
you
Right.
remember that
Well.
conversation?
Well. Keep in mind where we were and what he had
Right.
in his hand
I,
while he said it.
I know. So that's why I forgive him a little bit because he knew not what he was saying at that point. Well, they got Caleb Downs going to your Chiefs from Ohio
Well,
State safety. And your Chiefs need some defensive secondary help because you lost I believe both your starting cornerbacks are gone.
yeah. Hey,
And
they
then
all pro. Yeah, McDuffie's with the Rams now,
yeah,
so
right.
that is a move. Um, but I also kind of think as long as they have a Mahomes,
Hmm.
to me, you always got to invest in an offensive lineman, not necessarily in the first round,
Yeah.
but I always in the back of my head, that's you're not gonna have it go through the draft and not draft somebody big in terms of large body. Um, but if there is a large body there that has a pretty good and a stacked resume, go get him.
Right.
However, you do need some defensive help. I think the offense of Kansas City, um, despite the injury to Mahomes, is ahead of the game versus the Chiefs' defense. And I
Yeah.
think that would probably be in their best interest to go ahead and get somebody for the back end, that secondary. I think a cornerback would go. I'll try to think who they could look at the list here of these guys. Because I hear from guys that I know that cover it,
Hmm.
the Chiefs are talking about getting a receiver. They're talking about this Jordan Tyson guy.
I heard that too. I heard possibly
Yeah,
receiver. They looking at that
yeah,
route too. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and they got 2 1s.
Right.
So
They
if
do.
you don't get a DB in the first pick,
Yeah.
you get you one in the second pick. So I
Right.
I don't know who it would be, but I'm gonna say it's the secondary is gonna be their bit. It could be Jermod McCoy
Yeah.
reunite, well not reunite, but put two White House boys together
Right.
on the Chiefs roster.
Ah.
You could hey
Yeah,
you never
and
know
we're gonna
you
talk
know
about the East Texas connection here in a few minutes too. I want to get into the 10th pick, and then we're gonna talk about these Texas teams,
okay
specifically the
gotcha
Cowboys and Houston.
gotcha
But the 10th pick, they have the Giants choosing an offensive lineman. I'm not getting ready to butcher this dude's name. He's a guard from Penn State. OI was what I would call him, but it says Olavega Ione. I know I butchered it, but that's who they got the Giants picking at 10. Obviously, they got those two number ones picks due to the trade of defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals. So they got the Bengals 10th pick in the first round. So yeah, they got the Giants looking to go offensive line pretty much in the first, edge and offensive
yeah.
line. I could see Harbaugh doing that.
No, I can see that. I definitely see that. Again, it goes back to building off of what his reputation is about, you
Yeah.
know. And I think I, I think the thing about Harbaugh, he's out of his bubble from Baltimore, and now he's in
Yeah,
the market,
right.
and he's going to get tested by that media crew there. I mean, I used to be a part of that media, but I wasn't half as vicious as these guys, man. I mean,
Right,
they definitely go for the jugular because
right.
they want answers, and I think
Mhm. Yeah, I lost you, Mike. Oh man, I lost you. Mike was talking about going for the juggler. Mike, I lost you. If you can hear me, I need you to come back. I'm gonna remove you. I'll see if we can get you back. So Mike was talking about the Giants, them going with a offensive lineman at number 10. According, and this again, this is a mock draft that I'm looking at on ESPN.com. Phil Yates, this is what he was saying. He was going for those lights. I think I got Mike back. I think I
yeah,
got you back. Yeah, there we
yeah,
go. Good
yeah.
deal. All right. All right, let's talk. Let's move to the Cowboys. Let's go to the number 12. Now, the Cowboys, we know last year their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. They got rid of the defensive coordinator, which we knew that Matt Eberflus. We knew that was going to be the thing. And according to Phil Yates, they got the Cowboys at 12 going defense, which I think we all think they should. And they got them taking cornerback Mansour Delane out of LSU.
Huh?
Mike,
Okay.
have you heard? What have you heard? What's the rumblings been about this 12th pick with the Dallas Cowboys?
Uh, I saw two mock drafts that had McCoy, who we just
Mm-hmm.
talked about,
Right.
uh, linking up with the Cowboys. Now he has an injury that he's been dealing with, and it's not the injury that he had, and which have caused some folks to think he's going to drop because of the other injury that he's got. But the Cowboys would take a guy like him because they said we can fix you. You know, like the $1 million, $6 million man, we can rebuild you and all that.
Right.
But since I already have him gone, I think they need to go for the edge. You know, you would yeah, you got to hold a field for Micah Parsons. I mean, you just do. I mean, for all the hype that Micah got, if he was all that and he's got it, then you need to find a way to replace him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you need to go with somebody that can come off that edge and go straight to that target in that backfield. And so I think it would be in their best interest to get that Reuben Bain kid out of Miami.
Mm. Yeah, and it's interesting to hear about that. Speaking of that, man, Mike, we got to real quick. I don't want to just be on that too long, but they got the Bain kid going to the Baltimore Ravens at 14. The big news about him has been he has short arms for an edge rusher. I'm like, okay, now we just being nitpicky about
Well, I
some
mean,
things.
I'm pretty sure he's got the explosive first step to make up for
Right.
the short arms.
Right. Right.
I
And,
mean,
and
I'm
that,
not
that's what I've seen. I mean,
because
but the
because
short arms has been the thing.
Because if I'm a quarterback, I'm like, oh, I ain't got to worry about him. He got short arms. No, it ain't like that.
Right. No.
If
Right.
he can get there, he gonna get there.
Right. Right.
So that's where I would see the Cowboys if they're talking about enhancing that defense. That'd be the route for them to go.
And then the other unfortunate thing is a story that came out
Yeah,
last week
yeah,
about this young man being the driver in a fatality accident that happened a couple of years ago.
yeah.
It's just
24.
unfortunate how these type of biggest day of these young men's lives are right around the corner. Why all of a sudden now this story surfaces?
Well, I think, and he's been, and everybody that's supposed to know knows about it. The
Right, right,
coaches, the
right,
team, and all that.
right. Yeah.
And it's just like, why are you lighting the fire? And I guess it's just part of the sensationalism. That's all it is because it's not it ain't stuck. And there have been other people. The precedents have been set for guys who
Yeah. I know what you
accident
mean.
or whatever.
Or whatever.
How
Yeah.
about the bong? Remember the bong?
Yes, I
He-
do. Yeah.
He's the guy's
Hmm.
flourishing in the NFL. Now, granted, he didn't
Yeah.
hurt anybody, but I'm just saying
Right, right,
these things that startle. Oh my God! I clutch those pearls.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's move on.
Yeah. So hopefully the kid, I think he's gonna, we'll see if he drops, and we'll see if that is the reason for him to drop in the draft. At 20, Mike, they have. Speaking of edge, you said you think the Cowboys should go with an edge rusher. They might draft have them doing that, but not the Ruben Bain. Obviously, they had Bain going to the Ravens. They got the
Okay.
Cowboys getting Keldrick Falk, edge rusher out of Auburn
Okay.
at
Okay.
20. I
Okay.
don't know much about him. He only had 2 sacks in 2025 after having 7 in 2024. But he's 6'5" and 7'8", and he's 276 pounds. So he has some length on him. I think I lost Mike again. I did. So again, that is the mock draft. Again, we don't know what's going to happen, but that is who Phil Yates had the Cowboys taken at the 20th pick. And as you see in the ticker, I put the Cowboys and the Houston Texans up here, as well as my Packers, just to show you what their picks are starting from the first, going through the first round through the 7th round. Obviously, my Packers don't have a first round pick this year nor next year after the trade, after they got Michael Parsons from the Dallas Cowboys in that big trade right before the season started. Far as the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys have a total of 8 picks. I could be wrong about that. And this is the first time since they've had multiple picks in the first round. It's been a minute, Mike. If you just heard me, it's been a while since the Cowboys had multiple picks in the first round. The last time they did was 2008 when they drafted Felix Jones as well as Mike Jenkins.
There are 3 teams with 2 picks in the first.
Yeah. Well,
Cowboys,
actually, it's 6.
6.
It's 6 teams with multiple picks in the first round. That's not the record. The record is 9. That happened in 2022, but it's 6 teams with multiple picks in the first round this year.
Well, and the thing is, you're seeing how deals pay off when they make these trades, and that's currency, man.
Right.
That is currency, and then you use them wisely, and if you do the right thing, I mean, it's kind of like for the Cowboys to hit a home run. For me, regarding the draft, it would have to be near the move that Jimmy Johnson made. I guess Jerry had a hand in it. Of course he did with Herschel Walker.
Right.
You make a deal like that and then flourish with the results of that draft or those deals, you're doing something.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. And draft picks are high. I mean, to have those are a hot commodity because you do want to be able to build your team through the draft if possible. Obviously, you want to sprinkle in veterans with experience, but you definitely want to be able to build your team through the draft. Let's move to the other team in Texas, the Houston Texans. They coming off a pretty damn good regular season, but a disappointing playoffs. Well, I'm not going to say it was the quarterback that had the most disappointing playoff run. It was C.J. Stroud. Hopefully he can get over the hump. Well, they are picking number 28. According to Phil Yates, they have the Texans taking defensive tackle Peter Woods out of Clemson. They still building that top-ranked defense, which is, in my opinion, them and the Broncos, they had the damn best defenses, and you could throw the Seahawks in there too, but them two, the Broncos and the Texans, were the top of the list when you was talking about the top dogs as far as defensively. So I think the Texans, I think they definitely need to get some receivers because I think one of their receivers, we don't know. You remember that he had that serious knee injury versus your Chiefs. What's his name? He didn't play this year. You know what I'm talking about? God dang it, I cannot think of his name.
Not Chubb.
No. There was a wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
That he had that gruesome knee injury versus the Chiefs. Not this season, but was it earlier in the season? But I can't think. But I think they need some wide receiver help as far as the Texans. Obviously, they signed Will Anderson Jr. to that.
Massive deal.
That historic deal. That's commitment.
That is commitment, and I think that tells you right there that this is how serious they are.
Right.
I didn't really take them serious last year till maybe the middle of the season.
Right.
because I'm brainwashed with the Cowboys talk all around here, you
Right,
know.
right, because we in cowboy country. I know. You know I
But
know.
no, I think Ryan's has done a really good makeover with this team, and hey, as long as that QB, that's
Yeah,
what you got to do. So, and
right,
I'm glad they're sticking by him. I mean, there wasn't no reason to not stick
right.
by him, but I know folks are like, he's a bum. No, he's not a bum. He can play.
He just had a bad, he had a bad run there, just like
Yeah, he
Drake,
did.
just like Drake made. Same thing I said about the
Yeah,
end of the
yeah.
playoffs. They had a bad run. The thing is, you got to let that's over now. You got to get that's that's the end of that. You got to start anew, and then hopefully they can get back on track. I think the Texans is still going to be one of them top teams in the AFC, especially with that defense.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
no.
I don't see them going anywhere. Speaking of Texans again, they got 8 picks total as well. The Cowboys have 8 picks. My pack again, I mentioned earlier, the Packers have 8 picks too, but no first round pick this year or next year after that, the Michael Parsons trade. So again,
Okay.
today is Thursday. We start the first round, 7 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. Then we got only the first round. Then Friday, we got rounds 2 and 3. Then on Saturday, we have rounds 4 and 7. Now, Mike, I want you to specifically talk about East Texas. What are we looking like as far as some names that we should be looking out for in the next couple of days?
Yeah. We talked about Jermod McCoy, of course, but also there's a cornerback out of Mesquite, but he's at SFA. Charles Demings, my understanding, is getting some love. Um, and of course, Haynes King. I
Right.
did an interview with him earlier this week, the former Longview Lobo, Georgia Tech quarterback, and did an interview last night with um, Jam Miller
Mm-hmm.
from Legacy High School, the Alabama running back. Um, I think Haynes King is going to wind up on somebody's roster.
Okay.
He's a tough kid. Um, I think he would have had a better look if he had been able to do the same things at A&M that what he did at Georgia Tech.
I got you. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right, right. Bigger,
And,
it's a little bit bigger stage at A&M than,
yeah,
not saying Georgia Tech is,
right,
slimy, but
right,
definitely SEC is,
yeah.
uh is a little bit bigger name. I got you on that.
But
Yeah.
he brought some cachet there. He
Right.
did some things there that
Yeah.
they went 9-4, and
Hmm.
they began the season 8-0.
Yeah.
And so him being a dual threat, he was the ACC Offensive Player of the Year, the ACC Player of the Year, first
Hmm.
team All Conference. I mean, you got credentials like that, somebody's going to pick you up, you
Right.
know. So I
Yeah.
think day two late perhaps. I think with the young legacy kid with Jam Miller,
Hmm.
the only backs we're hearing about, the only back we're hearing about is Jeremiah. But his running back mate, Jordan, I think Jordan Price is his name.
Hmm.
He's got a lot going for him. I didn't even know about him because we hear
Mm.
so much about Jay Love. But
Right.
I think what Jam is going to have to do is, because I looked at the scouting report on him. They talked about the flaws that he has. Um, they haven't projected going in the sixth round.
Who? Jam Miller.
Jam Miller in the sixth
Okay,
round.
I was going to ask you that. Okay. What about Haynes?
Um,
What about Haynes King? What is the projection on him?
I saw one headline said he's the most underrated quarterback in this
Mm,
draft,
mm,
but I haven't seen a draft projection for him. Um, all the stuff that I've been reading, but they talk about his he's a tough kid. He's
mm,
a tough kid. He's got the strong mentality. He came out of high school as one of the top 2, 3 dual threat quarterbacks.
right.
And I just, it's going to be just like Haynes King's luck to backdoor his way in somewhere, because that's just kind of how his
Mm,
life is. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? He goes to
mm,
A&M, gets hurt, guy takes his job, he comes back, and it's just, and then Jimbo Fisher swirling through a bunch of stuff going on. And I was glad he transferred when he did, and then he goes to Georgia Tech, you know, and turns
yeah.
things around there. And that's just the kind of guy he is. I mean, the first time I was really impressed with Haynes King, it was before I think it was before they won the state. I saw him at the Lufkin relays. I run all these cats in the quarter.
Mm,
They were chasing him on that
mm,
backstretch.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. Oh,
And
okay.
and that's
Okay.
the quarterback doing that,
That's the
right?
quarterback. That's
Yeah.
the quarterback. A lot of times quarterbacks, when they go out for track, it's either, you know, to keep them out of trouble or keep them in shape condition wise. No, he went to compete.
Mhm.
And I saw him come down that last 20 yards and just left them in the dust. I had newfound respect for him as an athlete. He's a tremendous athlete.
Right.
Um, you could use him the way the Saints use what's his name?
Taysom Hill. Is it
That's
Taysom
it.
Hill?
You
Yeah.
could use him like that.
Mm.
I mean, he brings variables to the table. It's just a matter again, back to that word again, fit. What's the
Mhm.
best fit for a player like Haynes King? I mean, he can
Okay.
get at least 2 or 3 years out of the NFL. At
Right.
least.
So this year is roughly maybe what 4 or 5 guys out of East Texas that possibly could get drafted, or is it? I mean, what's the number? Is there? Because it's normally we always have a handful of guys in East Texas that's either going to get drafted or end up being an undrafted free agency, or an undrafted free agent. Do you feel like that's going to be the case this year, as in years past? Think Michael, you froze. Yep, Mike, you froze. There you go, Mike. You hear me? I think you froze. Yep. All right, Mike. You okay? Hold on. Let me see. You back? You back? Mike, can you hear me? Mike, can you hear me? Can't hear me?
Can
You
you hear
can't
me?
hear me?
Can you hear
I
me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. You can't hear me. Now go back. I'm gonna take you out. Go back out and come back in. Yeah, I don't know what happened. We lost his audio. Hopefully he can come back in because we're gonna. I want to ask him 2 questions about the Cowboys. Want to ask him about Brandon Aubrey signing that historic deal for a kicker, and the latest on George Pickens. Uh, According to Stephen Jones, that won't be any talk of a contract extension or whatever. Let's see if we can get Mike back. See if he can hear me. Can you hear me, Mike? Can you hear me? You can't hear me? Nope. Uh, can you hear me? Uh, You can't hear me. Uh, I don't know what's going on. We might have to. Mike can't. He can't hear me. Because I definitely wanted to get his take on that particular situation that's going on with the Cowboys, and I'm quite sure they're gonna talk about they're gonna be talking about that tonight on NFL Draft Night, talking about the Cowboys and George Pickens conversation, his contract situation. Already they have tenured him a franchise tag. Let me see. Can you hear me, Mike? Can you hear me? No, he's still working around it. So we'll see what happens with that. But we do have some NFL draft news. I want to say, yeah, some draft 20, which I found it was pretty cool. Uh, Pick number 57, which belongs to the hometown Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, whomever is pick number 57, the Heinz ketchup, now Heinz steak sauce, they actually are teaming up with the 2006 number 57 draft pick, the Hall of Famer Devin Hester. They're going to honor the Pittsburgh-based company's condiments bottles. Again, they're teaming up with Devin Hester, who was picked number 57 in 2006. So whomever is the number 57 pick this year, which again the Pittsburgh Steelers, the hometown, has that pick. They will get a year's supply, I believe, of Heinz ketchup, Heinz steak sauce. They also would get a jacket and some other stuff, man. So I thought that was a pretty cool deal. Again, whoever is drafted with the 57th pick, which is owned by the Steelers, they will get a custom jacket, a lifetime supply of Heinz ketchup, and the opportunity to work with the company. Let's see if Mike can hear me again. Mike, can you hear me? No, no. I guess we're gonna have to. I guess we're done, Mike. I know you got other things to do. Yeah, he can't. Yeah, we done lost his audio. Yeah, he can't hear me. I ain't lose his audio, but he can't hear me at all. I don't know what's going on with that, but ain't that lovely technology? Let me try to send him a message to tell him it's all good. He can he can do what he need to do. Let me text him real quick. Okay, we're good. See you, but you can't hear me. Okay. All right, let me see if I can pull him up one more time. See if he can hear me. Da 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 da. Mike, MC. Nah, he can't hear me at all. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this has been Kendrick the Sports Guy with your NFL preview show. Again, all the stuff, first round kicks off tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central on what? NFL Network, ESPN, and all that. So you'll get to see the first round tonight. Again, the time between first round selections have been decreased. It went from 10 minutes to 8 minutes to somewhat speed it up. Then you get rounds rounds 2 and 3, I believe, on Friday, and then the rest 4 through 7 on Saturday. So that is what we got for to look forward to in the next couple of days. We also got NBA playoffs still tipping off tonight as well. And so again, I'm going to be watching. My Packers don't have a first round draft pick. So it's not really much for me to watch tonight for. And speaking of that, that's what I knew I wanted to mention. There's a couple of teams that don't have first round draft picks. Not only my Green Bay Packers, but the Denver Broncos, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Indianapolis Colts are the only teams that do not have a first round draft pick. Again, as I said earlier with Michael, there are like 6 teams that have multiple draft picks in the first round. The New York Jets at 2-16 with the second pick and the 16th pick. The Giants with the 5th pick and the 10th pick. The Browns with the 6th pick and the 24th pick. The Chiefs with the 9th pick and the 29th pick. The Dolphins with the 11th pick and the 30th pick. And the Cowboys with the 12th pick and the 20th pick. Barring any major trades, those are the teams with multiple draft picks on tonight in the first round. So again, we'll talk about that. We'll give some post draft analysis probably on Saturday. Well, probably on tomorrow as well, just to talk about the first round and how it went and who went where and what to expect moving on out. But before we get out of here, let me give you an NFL draft trivia question. This was a good one too. NFL draft trivia question. And it is scrolling at the bottom of the screen with in the ticker. Here's the question: can you name the 3 current NFL franchises that have never had the number 1 overall draft pick in the draft? Let's see, Mike. Can you hear me? Nah, he's still working with it. Don't worry about it, bro. I sent you a text. We good. We good.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, he can't hear me. Again, here is the draft trivia question. Please, I'm not going to say it right now because I want to see if you watch this later. I want you to put your answers in the comment section and I will respond. Again, this is the NFL draft trivia question. Can you name the 3 current NFL franchises that have never had the number 1 overall pick in the draft? Please don't Google it, because I know that's what everybody's going to run to. You're going to run to Google and then you're going to get it. But off the top of your head, before you go to Google, see if you can answer this question. NFL draft trivia for 2026. Can you name the 3 current NFL franchises that have never had the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And I put the hint down there. One of the teams is from the AFC West, the other is from the AFC North, and the other is from the NFC West. So please put your responses in the comments as well. I will respond to them. Also, let me know what you think about the draft, what your team needs are, who you want. Also, put that in the comments so I can comment and respond to your what your thoughts are. All right. So again, I am Kendrick the Sports Guy. Make sure if you haven't already, make sure you like, you subscribe to Kendrick Sports Hustle right here on YouTube, as well as follow it on Facebook. Make sure you subscribe to TFG Sports Media on YouTube as well as on Facebook as well. All right, Mike. Can you hear me?
I'm connected.
Nah, he can't hear me. But anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Mike's still trying to mess with it, and I sent him a text. And he couldn't get it, but that's okay. He'll figure it out as soon as in a minute that we're done. So again, you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you on the other side and on the next report and on the next live stream. I am out. Peace.